Welcome to Break Fix's Drive-Thru News, your monthly recap for everything fast, fascinating, and usually four-wheeled. We're serving up a fresh batch of automotive headlines, motorsports madness, and car-adjacent curiosities, all with zero wait time and maximum flavor. From Formula One drama to concept car debuts with garage-built legends to the quirkiest stories rolling out of the state of Florida, we've got your fix. So grab your coffee, buckle up, and let's cruise through the latest in the world of wheels with a side of entertainment and just a dash of tire smoke.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Brad. What's up?
Yes, when was the last time we did one of these? Feels like it's been a while.
October.
What? We didn't got when did we I thought we did one in November.
No, because November's always the holiday special. Last year we did the game show and all that stuff, and then we do the holiday gift exchange and all that. And then December was the Formula One retrospective.
Right.
So this is the winter recap. We get to talk about everything that happened since October, basically when we went into hibernation.
So you mean it's going to be a really short episode?
I mean,
I don't think anything really happened.
with the absence of Formula One in the episode, yeah, everybody gets back half an hour of their day.
Lucky them. Welcome to Drive-Thru episode number 64.
Our 64th drive-through episode. Can you believe it?
No.
We've only skipped two in the entirety of Break Fix. We've only skipped two drive-through episodes. Can you believe that?
No.
You don't listen anyway, so what difference does it make?
So you have only skipped two. I've skipped a couple because I popped out babies and all that good
Oh,
stuff.
that's true. Yeah, that's
So
very
I've
true.
skipped a lot more than two.
That's very true. We did have some fill-ins there over time. So mad shout out to our guest hosts that have come on in the past to fill in your size 13 loafers.
Yes, my loafers.
Did you get anything good for Christmas?
I didn't get anything for Christmas.
What?
You can imagine why.
Oh, well, yeah, I can. But
Literally I got nothing.
I mean, I got car parts delivered to the house for Christmas, but they're yours. So does that really count?
Yeah, I bought myself stuff for Christmas.
Well,
Yeah.
well, we'll get into that. Winter recap, traditionally, we look back over the months that we haven't been recording the drive through and kind of see what's been going on in the automotive industry. Because it's a slow time of year, even though, as I constantly remind you, the beginning of the sales cycle is September. So we are now almost like halfway through the sales year at this point. Nothing's really going on, but there have been some significant changes and maybe some backpedaling, we'll call it that, in the automotive industry during the winter months. Instagram post from the Car News Network, sort of by way of BMW, the EU officially kills the 2035 combustion engine ban. Clickbait, or is there some truth to this?
That's not exactly what they're doing. They're relaxing the requirement that by 2035, propulsion system is 100% clean, and they're relaxing at 90%. So you have a 10% window there to pollute. So you still have to have a really efficient ICE engine, or it's a hybrid, basically, right, and you're using very little fuel. So it's not clear cut that, oh, EVs are out and we're just going right back to gas guzzling four cylinders in Europe, right?
Right.
I think it's more nuanced than that.
I think there's an ounce of credibility to at least this sentiment that governments around the world are rolling back the hard and fast mandates that we were going to go all electric by, 2027, by 2029. And the dial kept moving towards 11, right? So 2035. And now we're walking back from that. And one of the things that I think resonates with what I saw from Cars News Network is Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, put out a statement. And inside of there was a paragraph that I pulled out. And I'll read it for you. It says, Ford CEO Jim Farley was inspired to lead an overhaul of the automaker's electric vehicle strategy after examining rival EVs. And on a recent podcast, Jim Farley said he came down to the shocking, quote unquote, realization that Ford needed a major company reset after tearing down Tesla and the Chinese EVs and noticing how much less electrical wiring they required, yada, yada, yada. And despite a recent EV slowdown in the US, Farley believes EV innovation remains vital globally. However, in that same breath, EVs are great and wonderful. It continues on. The one line that you pull out of that is Ford is considering scrapping its electric F-150 pickup, which means the Lightning is gone. Mach-E sales are down. I mean, obviously there's all the controversy over Mustang Mach-E, what is it really called? Who cares what it's called, right?
I don't know if that's really controversy. That's just us going back and forth like boomers about badge engineering.
Yeah. I mean, enthusiasts aren't happy about it, but the real thing is the sales numbers of Mach-E, they were okay. They weren't great, but the F-150 Lightning, as we know, that kept getting its truck bed handed to it in every competition it was put in. Sometimes it would pull ahead of like a Cybertruck or what, one of the other electric EVs that's out there, but it's not what people want, right? And the whole farce of it can charge itself, you remember that whole thing, and you're like, it doesn't surprise me in a world of $100,000 pickup trucks that the F-150 Lightning is not something that people want.
I thought we've been talking about manufacturers backtracking on the full EV thing for like the last year, though. That's not something that's new. Yeah.
It's not new. And a lot of it has to do with the tax credit incentives, whatever, for purchasing them being erased.
Right.
Suddenly people don't want to buy them anymore, which I'm like, how much was this incentive really? It's not like they were free. They were still really expensive.
Yeah. Overly expensive.
Well, relief might be in sight, and I feel like I'm being partially vindicated here in some ways. I've been arguing for 6 years now that we needed to borrow 40-year-old train technology and come up with a better hybrid system than the hybrid that we're using. And we saw inklings of this in the past. If you guys remember, Audi had built that 2-liter turbo generator system on one of their Dakar prototype things, and it ran at like 9 billion RPM to make electricity to power the electrical system, one of their e-tron prototypes or whatever. Well, that is sort of the way people are starting to lean in the market now. You're seeing more reports of we should use gas and diesel as a generator to create electricity, and we can double and triple the range of these electric vehicles with like a 1-cylinder gas powered generator. I mean, they're going to be bigger than that, right? They're going to be 4 cylinders more than likely, stuff like that. But I found it funny. There was an article from the Audi Club, and I just started singing, "Diesel's back, back again, Diesel's back," because TDI hybrid, Audi launching the next generation V6 diesel for its Q5 and its A6 series. So Dieselgate, the end of the world, me. Diesels are back, baby.
Well, not here, though.
Not yet. It's only a matter of time.
All they have to do is make them actually cleaner without cheating.
And as a generator, they can do that because it's basically idling, and they can come up with all sorts of exhaust gas recirculation, catalytic combustion, incineration process to make it super clean and emit, wafts of rat breath out the back or something. I don't know. But the point is, in my mind, diesel electric hybrid, as I've been saying, makes way more sense. And I know Big Oil doesn't want to hear that because they want to sell more gasoline, right?
Big Oil sells diesel too.
At like $700 a gallon, too.
But that's just it. So is this going to affect the price of diesel long term? Then, we can get into all that whole economic debate. But the thing is, it makes more sense to have like a high torque, low rev diesel little generator than a gas motor that's got to run at, 9,000 RPM to generate the same kilowatt hours that's necessary to charge the system. So I'm really excited about this. I feel like it's 10 years too late. Like we should have started at this point, not done the fully electric unicorn farts and, lithium powered everything. Excited to see where this goes longer term.
Yes.
$150,000 Audi TDI.
Did you expect anything less? Meanwhile, over at Jaguar, we talked about this car before. Remember the one that they officially showed at Pebble Beach this year, which had only been in like concept drawings and designs. And you're like, man, did AI generate this car? It looked like something out of Batman the Animated Series, super cartoony Jaguar. And then, they went through the whole backlash with changing the logo and, Jaguar lost its way and all this kind of thing. Well, as a result of all the negative publicity from the Type 00 concept, that cartoon Jaguar I was just referencing, they fired Jerry McGovern after 20 years at Jaguar.
Who?
Exactly.
If you're in that circle, the circle of Land Rover, Jaguar, Tata, and all that kind of stuff, apparently he's designed some iconic models like the Defender and stuff like that, which are kind of cool. Like if you like that sort of thing, they're kind of cool. But that Jaguar Type 00, whatever, was just a step away from what anybody actually wanted. The reason I bring up this Jaguar, and you guys are like, well, who cares? We know that thing's ugly.
Not surprised he's fired.
Have you seen the new A4 sedan?
Oh, so Audi hired him.
Right?
The front end is very 90s alpha to me. The way the headlights go and the square should be the not a square, but
That's trash.
it looks like a Lego car.
It looks like the back end of a wide body IMSA car from the 80s. The Nissan Skyline silhouette with the box flares. It looks like the
Yeah.
back of that is on the front. I also immediately thought Chrysler 300,
Oh, yeah, I get that.
This is a garbage scowl.
but this is the new design language. All the Audis are going to look like this now.
Then they're all gonna look like trash.
Yeah, and they're not going to sell, and they're going to change it again to something worse.
I mean, what is this like
worse.
Bugatti front end? I mean, that's what it reminds me of.
I don't even think the grills were this square in the 80s.
No, because they were rectangles. Never was there a square grille.
Maybe in the Auto Union days of like 1932 or whatever.
Not even those. Those were like more oval.
It's ugly.
The square grill's from like a Mack truck.
You know, Volkswagen owns MAN trucks, so maybe they're just borrowing from their design department. It kind of does look like a semi.
Maybe somebody missed a meeting and they got Joe Blow from the blue collar division to come in and it was like, yeah, just throw a square on the front there.
How is that aerodynamic?
I mean, this straight up looks like you photoshopped and just said, let me cut a rectangle out of the front of like a regular A4, and then let me just like copy and paste this image and just like put it on top. That's what this rendering looks like.
To that point, do we know that this is actually what the car is going to look like?
Well, this is still a concept, right? So like all
Yeah.
concepts, it could look
Yeah.
nothing like this.
No, but like everything I see here says new A4 rendering by Motor One. Like this isn't the concept car actually built by Audi.
Oh, well, then this is exactly what I said. It's some dude in Photoshop just copying and pasting chunks of something else onto a regular A4.
Yeah, exactly. This is non-news. This is clickbait.
No, but if you go back to the pictures of the Concept C, which they link to, it's the same design language. Tanya's point, they probably grafted the front end of that onto the current A4 body, you know, and kind of fixed it up a little bit. But the new car has this look to it with the square grille and everything else. It's pretty terrible.
So Audi's concept is in there. It's the Concept C.
Yeah.
So Motor One took, like I said, a screenshot of this, changed the color in Photoshop, and put this on a regular A4 and said, ooh, we should make an A4.
Hey, let's write an article about this.
It looks like trash, though.
Let's make this shit up and write
The
an article.
Concept C doesn't look good either.
No.
It actually looks better as this Concept C.
Yeah.
It's proportions, but it's still garbage.
Yeah, it looks better as a coupe for one thing. And like to Tanya's point, like the proportions and everything look better. Audi in the Concept C did a better job than Jake the intern at Motor One when he did the Photoshop.
Well, moving right along, we have to introduce a whole bunch of new cars if we're going to pay for the Audi F1 program. So Volkswagen is lining up a new wave of models for 2026.
I feel like your logic is flawed.
Uh-oh.
You don't need to make new cars. You need to sell more cars. I think that's where they're messing up.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, they can make all the cars they want. If they're not selling them, they're not making any money. So just make more cars that people want to actually buy. Top tip.
So to your point, scroll through this list of new Volkswagens. There's not a ton of them here. Are any of these appealing to you?
None of these are being sold in this country.
Yes, but they'll eventually make their way here, won't they?
No.
25 years.
No, nothing this small is going to come over here.
Yeah, but what about the ID Era and the ID Cross, which look like the ID4 and whatever the bigger one is than that?
I declare none of these are coming here.
That was good.
I'm going to just say it. These have a very like BYD sort of look to them. Is that where we're leaning now in terms of like we need to copy them because they're leading the market?
They have a what look to them?
BYD.
I don't know what that means.
The Chinese EV maker.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like bring your own design team.
That's what it stands for. I'm sure of it.
No, that was the Motor One article.
Oh yeah. Bring your own intern.
Now, I will say we're never going to get whatever this Polo thing is that's at the top. I don't even know what this thing's called. Maybe it's the ID3 or maybe it's the smaller one. It doesn't really matter. I do like this 90s. What was her name? Lisa Frank. Remember those folders? We had the Trapper Keepers and we had the Lisa
This
Frank
isn't
stuff.
hot pink enough to be Lisa Frank. Sorry.
But it's like a Harley Quinn thing, though. Did you notice the colors? It goes back to the Mark III Harley Quinn. I think this is a cool livery.
Yeah.
We may have to put an earmark on this and look at it more closely and study it for an upcoming project, which we're going to talk about later in the episode. But I really like this livery. It's very chaotic. It's unfocused.
We are not going to put this on pumpkin spice.
Oh, definitely not.
All right. What's next?
Well, we have a little bit of
Stellantis.
Stellantis news. All right, I'm just going to read the title here and get your guys' opinion. So this comes from The Drive. It says Jeep is selling a V8 Wrangler for $70,000, but you have to be a veteran or active military to be able to buy it.
Stupid.
I don't get this.
I just don't understand why.
They'd probably sell more if you didn't have to be active military or a veteran.
I was gonna say maybe this is a way just to show a little appreciation for the active military.
At $70,000
Well, so one thing, it's $70,000.
starting.
Very, very expensive. Like, so an infantryman's not going to be able to afford that shit. And then two, what this really is a publicity stunt.
Yes.
They're going to sell more of the other Jeeps because people are going to come in. Oh, you guys are doing something great for the military. You know what? I'm gonna spend my money with you.
The Jeepster Commando.
Well, that's a name for you. This Jeepster's going commando.
It is. Have you seen these doors?
I have seen these doors.
They
yeah.
might as well not even exist.
Mm.
That's a lot of tubing. It's not roll cagey enough.
This commando's got a lot of tubing. I love it.
I also like how there's seemingly the attachment for the spare tire on the trunk door, yet the tire's in the trunk.
But hey, it's got a Hemi. It's got a Hemi. And did you realize that it has a Hemi?
And what are you doing with this wildly unstable, horribly handling vehicle with a V8 in it?
You're spending an additional $11,500 and adding a Whipple supercharger to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you have a Hellcat. I mean, come on now.
Yes, now you've got a Hellcat.
Boosted to 705 horsepower. Just 2 horsepower shy of a Hellcat. Look at that.
Yep.
How many people are going to take this off-road, gun it, and crash it because...
Well, they kind of have to because there's no malls anymore, so there's nowhere to drive your Jeep.
They're going to make 250 of them. And to Tanya's point, I think they're going to wreck 250 of them.
There's a lot of no for me here, dog.
It's no for me. No, I don't like the white wheels. Other than that, I think it's cool. I think it's a marketing stunt, a publicity stunt. It's not doing anything for anybody.
See, and this is where you and I differ. I actually like the wheels. I don't know why, but that's like the most appealing part of this thing.
So I wonder if they're going to do like Tesla did and put a clause in the purchase agreement that you can't turn around and flip it.
Ah, that's probably true. All right. The next one. I have been following this build for years, and I am so excited that it's finally done. And when I saw this video, I had to share it with you guys. The Pacifica is done. The Hellcat-powered Pacifica is on the road, and it is freaking awesome. This thing is amazing.
So that's a minivan I would buy.
I sent this to my wife, and I was like, so what do you think? And she's like...
You're insane.
Yeah, she just sighed, and she's like, no. And I'm like, damn. I will say this. If I could put those wheels and that stance on my wife's Pacifica, just that, and the flares, oh, it look amazing. Like, I like the body lines of the Pacifica, and that's weird to say because it's a van.
It's just a big wagon.
It is, but it's kind of sporty, right?
Yeah.
But it needs to be more sporty. And this is like extreme sports. This is X Games. 700 plus horsepower.
Extreme.
Right? It's like Harold and Kumar going through the 7-Eleven or the Circle K or whatever it was. This thing is smoky burnouts in a minivan. I mean, does it get any better than that?
No.
That sound of that supercharger. That's just delicious.
Yep.
Well, since we're speaking of Stellantis, I got an opportunity to rent yet another Stellantis product. So I got to give you a little renter review here.
Why?
Guess what I got to drive when I was down in Florida?
I don't know.
Brand new.
Dodge Dart.
Yes, like 2016. Brand new Grand Wagoneer L. The only thing as big as that is the Expedition Max. Monstrosity. Third row with a trunk big enough for coffins. I mean, this thing is a yacht. It's probably the biggest thing I've driven since the old Autocrossers Inc. autocross van. If you remember that, 17 passenger church van.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it either because it's too big. It was too big in general. Parking it was a nuisance. It didn't fit in most parking spots. It was too long, too wide, whatever. Driving it wasn't really that different than my Jeep. A
Hmm.
lot of the creature comforts in my Jeep are there, but they're now very much more digital. Everything is like super high gloss and behind the touchscreen. I mean, I have a touchscreen in my Jeep, 11 years old, but it's much simpler. It's more intuitive. The icons are bigger, they're easier to determine. Like, I knew where everything sort of needed to be, but it took a minute to orient myself. Again, driving it was like any other Stellantis product. It handled like any other Stellantis product. The fit and finish was what I expected. Is it worth $150,000 MSRP? No. Is it as nice as my Jeep inside 10 years ago as a Summit Edition? Yes. Is it nicer than the current Jeeps? Yes. But I'm going to go back to, is it worth $150,000?
No, I feel like it's probably worth 80.
Yes.
And the regular Wagoneer is probably worth 45 or 50. And the Grand Cherokee should be in the 30 range. The Cherokee should be in the 20 range, and so on and so forth down. That's not how car pricing works, unfortunately, but that's where I think these vehicles should be.
No, I agree with you 1,000%. And it wasn't just a, around Kissimmee type of thing with the Wagoneer, dealing with stop and go traffic. We drove it long distances. And I'll talk about this a little bit more as we go along. We started our trip in Fort Myers, and Fort Myers to Orlando is 3 hours plus.
Yeah.
Despite it being big and bulky and cumbersome, it was super comfy. It was a nice place to be, especially with 4 people and luggage and everything else. You really were not pining for space in any way. It was super comfortable. And then after 3 hours in the truck, you got out and it's like, it wasn't even hateful. The seats are super comfortable. I will say the only thing that was really obnoxious was a feature that I don't have in any of my cars, which is the lane guidance assistance thing. And so the Wagoneer is so big, it takes a while to sort of orient where the corners of it are, where the edges of it are. And it is wider than my Jeep, even though my Jeep's kind of a big old hippopotamus going down the road. I found myself maybe skirting the edge of the lane a little bit where the white line was, not like going off on the shoulder. And it would try to correct. And what it would do is it would bump the truck over, but because it was so big, it would bump over to the other line and it would bump it back. So it was playing this like ping pong back and forth in the lane. And the guys are like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Watch, it's doing it itself." And I would let go and you would just move it back and forth a couple of inches. This is so annoying. And I couldn't figure out how to turn it off. And it was one of those features that I don't think you could permanently disable it, or I had to dig 12 menu layers deep to figure that out. And I'm like, it's a rental. I'm just going to give it back after a couple days. I don't want to sit here and, then be the cause of somebody else's problem. So I'll just live with it. But you were always on the knife edge when you were driving it. It was pretty pronounced how it would bump the truck over when it thought you were going over the lane. And it has these big flag mirrors too. So they're already sticking out past the body, and it doesn't take much for those sensors to suddenly pick up the line when the mirror is sticking out 18 inches, like most Stellantis truck owners have their mirrors extended for no reason. This is sort of the same thing from the factory, and it just blew my mind. It was one of the most obnoxious things that I've ever encountered on a new car.
For that kind of money, I would just save half of it and get a Yukon XL Denali.
Haven't they been having engine problems with those though? There's recalls on those GM V8s and stuff.
Yeah, but they've got it all sorted out now. And basically, if you're within thresholds, they'll just put a different viscosity oil in it, or they'll fix it and give you an extended warranty because they have all the parts and stuff now. So
Nice.
what was an issue where there was a shortage on parts and parts availability, and they couldn't get the trucks fixed and everything, that's all worked itself out now.
Well, let's switch gears and talk about Asian cars.
What about Mercedes and BMW?
We did that last year. We're done, remember?
Oh, we don't ever have to do it again?
No, never again. Like in another 5 years, they'll have changed the grills again or something.
Praise Lord, baby Jesus.
So let's talk about Asian cars. I don't know what changed in the Department of Transportation, if it's our current administration, whatever. It doesn't matter. But suddenly, K cars are coming to America?
Well, they're super cute.
They're accessories like chihuahuas and handbags.
They are. I mean, you can fit these K cars in your purse.
But you know who buys K cars in the US? Nerdy white guys. Tell me I'm wrong.
You have to be of a certain build to fit in these too. I mean, at your height, Brad, you put on a K car as a shoe.
So I'd buy 2 of them, yeah.
Pretty much, right? Now, I do think this Honda, the Modulo X or whatever, is super cool. I've seen some videos of these in Japan. They're mid-engine. You could put the roof in the frunk, and the frunk is tiny, like it holds like, 3 wrenches kind of thing. I mean, the cars are super compact. oddly enough, it's like MR2 meets S2000. It has that kind of vibe going. I like it. I'd love to drive one just to see. And I think it'd be super cool if they start making left-hand drive ones and bring them over to the States.
Yes.
There is a subculture in the American automotive landscape that will buy this for sure. But the bigger question is, if we're allowing new K cars to come in, what does it mean for old K cars?
No, because I think it's the same overarching rules still apply.
There's been folks that have been importing them for years. There's actually a huge shop in like Virginia that brings in K cars that are over 25 years old, the typical gray market stuff. But does this mean we can start bringing over any K cars?
And even here, there's an update from Department of Transportation and it says manufacturers must certify that they meet U.S. federal motor vehicle safety standards. So if we're going to import a K car, unless we change those standards to allow those, the K cars that they create must meet those standards. So the old ones that were created before don't, so they have to wait the 25-year rule, is my understanding of it.
Tanya, would you buy a K car?
No.
No.
She bought a K car.
I thought you'd be like one of the first people in line for something like this. You don't like K cars?
Um,
You just haven't found the right one yet.
I know which K car I want.
Oh, which one is it?
It's called the Fiat Panda.
All right, that's fair. I'll give you that.
Not the Alfa Romeo wagon, whatever, cross
Turbo,
cabriolet.
something.
Yeah, whatever that stupid that thing was.
The longest name ever. Yeah, good job there, my man.
Yes. Yeah.
In other Asian car news, this is the sickest station wagon I've seen in a long time. Tell me I'm
The
wrong.
Smegma.
The Hyundai Magma series. Look at this thing.
The Genesis Smegma wingback.
The G90. Look at that color. Look at those wheels. Look at those flares. I mean, this is Audi RS6 Avant territory that Genesis/Hyundai is going in. Am I wrong?
Well, no, that's what they always do.
That looks sick.
Remember the Stinger?
Yeah.
Stinger's basically an A7, or looks like an A7.
Which should have come in a stick shift, but we'll just leave that where it is.
Yeah.
I would buy one of these.
Yeah.
Stop me. Because the price is like $200,000, I'm sure. But Tanya, you have a very discerning eye when it comes to this sort of thing. What do you think of the G90 Magma wingback?
It's got a very Aston rear end.
Yes.
The double spoiler is interesting.
Yes. All of this is good.
The weird shark fin thing on the roof,
On the edges. Yeah.
unsettling from the side angle.
It's for aerodynamics. So it looks cool from the front.
I think it's if they got rid of those weird twin shark fins or whatever you want to call those ribs, the line would be much better.
That's for the roof rack, though. That's why those are there. So you don't have a wagon. You don't understand roof rails. I get it.
Excuse me, how many wagons have there been made that have roof rails that look better than this? We did not need to reinvent roof rails.
They just integrated the roof rails into the body as opposed to slapping them separately.
Basically.
These are aerodynamic roof rails. They also provide lateral downforce. It was
Okay.
tested in a wind tunnel
Okay.
in some country that you can't pronounce. And the
Okay.
Formula One team that's involved or the Le Mans team that's involved said it was good.
Okay.
It's good.
That's a beautiful color. I'll give them that.
This is the hotness fire right here, despite the name. Well, Hyundai's got to do something to get us excited, right? I'm really interested to see what happens with their WEC entry in the next couple of years.
Here's the K car we should all have.
I was just about to say that. Tanya stole my thunder. Yes, this is the K car that we all deserve.
Because Honda's just clickbaiting us with this teaser. They are re-releasing, or they're releasing a new Fit only for the Chinese market. So we're not going to see another Honda Fit here. But they did this, I don't know, rendering of it in race trim. Yes, please. Can we have another Honda Fit race series? That'd be super fun to see these.
B-spec cars. Is it just me or does it look like a little hamster? Like it's going to like gnaw a carrot or something?
It does. Yes,
It's got these like buck teeth.
it does. Absolutely. Better front end than that Audi.
Yeah, you're very right about that. And I didn't plan this, but I mentioned the MR2 earlier. But what is this that you brought us here?
Well, they haven't said what it's going to be. And of course, they show pictures of an MR2 because that's their previous mid-engine sports car. But allegedly, Toyota is confirming they will be bringing another mid-engine sports car. It might be a few years out, but it's coming. And then they show a picture of the one they built out of like the Yaris or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, are we going to get a Yaris with a mid-engine, or are we going to actually get something like a Breezy with a mid-engine?
Ooh,
But not the Breezy, but the GR.
Toyota version of the Renault Clio Sport.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Completely useless for everyday driving.
Who cares? It's awesome.
I think we should go back to the second generation MR2. I mean, I like the MRS, the MR Spider. I drove those. It's the poor man's Elise. I mean, the Elise and the MRS are basically the same thing at the end of the day. Similar power plant, all that borrowed from the Celica. But the body lines of the second gen MR2, if they were modernized and brought into today, like we've seen some of the body kits for the GR86 that make it look like the AE86 with the pop-up headlights. I think that stuff is all ultra fantastic, and those are the directions that Toyota should be going in. I think they could reintroduce the second generation MR2 today. It's the perfect size. Just do it right for 2026, and you've got a Boxster killer on top of it all if they want to go toe-to-toe with Porsche. Tanya, you always bring us the latest and greatest. What have you got for us?
Well, we have the recent article from Car and Driver about future electric vehicles that you'll soon be able to buy. But these aren't necessarily around the corner for sale. They could be concept to actually being in production. And oh, lo and behold, look, there's that Concept C Audi in the picture.
But there is that Lancia looking Rivian thing again that we talked about a bunch of months ago. That is still super cool looking.
This whole article is kind of contradictory to what we were talking about at the beginning about how manufacturers are scaling back on the whole EV thing.
Well, scaling back, so it means they still have to make some.
Yeah.
And you got in here, aside from, okay, some of the usual players, you got Acura coming out with an RSX. An RSX. We're Brad engineering the RSX name because this thing looks like an SUV.
This thing looks like a Urus. It's huge.
It's terrible. Like this should be the MDX and it's an EV, but apparently this is expected in the second half of this year.
Oh.
So who knows?
Awful.
You got Sony apparently going to come out with that Afeela.
What?
Which I first saw like several years ago at the Consumer Electronics Show. Apparently that's actually becoming real. We haven't been following Sony and what they were doing. They're alleging that there's one expected late this year.
Wow.
You've got Alfa Romeo with a Giulia EV.
I am really interested in that, actually. If you kept the body the way the Giulia's always looked, that's a handsome EV. It would be the best looking EV on the road, hands down. Yes. Unlike its cousin, the Stelvio. God.
Which is interesting. I thought the Stelvio was pretty much
dead.
A goner. So the fact that they'd want to try and make an EV out of that seems interesting. You got Alpine entering the foray.
Those are hot.
And here, look at this. Audi TT EV. So that Concept C TT.
I think I threw up a little bit.
Artistic license in writing this to say this is a TT. I don't think in any way has Audi, said that they're going to be coming out with a TT, but nonetheless, this is the concept.
So that's funny you say that. You know how the A4 was photoshopped?
Yes.
Look at the roof line on this one and tell me they didn't Photoshop this front end on a TT.
Yes.
That's a TT, Gen 1 TT roof line.
Yeah, it is.
As a TT owner, I can vouch for this. Yes. That is what they did. That is terrible.
Whatever's going on with that Audi, that's ridiculous. And then, of course, you got Bentleys and BMWs. Of course, they're staying with their I series, but look at that grille on that IM3.
Oh my God, that is so horrible.
Yes, that car looks like a Mark 8 or Mark 9 Lancer is what that M3 looks like. It's terrible. Oh, it looks like that the Infiniti i30.
Yes.
From the 90s. Yes.
You know what I will give them credit for, though? If those wheels are for real, they look really, really cool. I think those are neat.
You are on an island, my friend.
Didn't something have something like that, similar or no?
I don't know, but they look super slick. Like the way wheels are being made these days is just amazing. What
do we think of the Caterham?
The what?
Once you get past the BMWs.
What is that?
Caterham. Sorry, I think I pronounced it incorrectly.
Is that an Evora?
I don't know.
That's what it looks like. Kind of.
It is stunning.
That's a good looking car.
Yes.
And here's a surprise. The Bolt's coming back.
Boo! Boo! God, it looks even more like a shopping cart than it did before.
I actually like the Bolt. I went out the other night and did an Uber, and the person that picked me up had a Chevy Bolt, and I was impressed with the Chevy Bolt.
This Ferrari EV.
We got Ferrari being Ferrari. Really? Because that SUV was so successful, now we got to be an EV? Let things lie. Anyway, how about, here you go, Magma.
Oh, God. I instantly love it. So, can we talk about the Hofmeister kink? Do you guys know what that is? I recently learned about this. The Hofmeister kink.
Okay. What happens if I Google Hofmeister Kink? Do I hit enter right now?
You don't Google that. I believe it takes you to the wrong kind of website.
You never Google anything with the word kink in it.
No, I haven't hit enter, so I'm
But you can look it up.
refrain.
But maybe put automotive Hofmeister kink. That could give you some other search results.
Oh no. Okay, it came up the very first. Okay.
All right. So I learned from John Summers, the motoring historian.
Okay.
This goes back to 1960s Ferrari. There's the Super Americas. Cars are very swoopy, very beautiful lines. And then the glass has this like cut in it. It's very sharp. It's very angular on a car that's very curvy, like the Super America and the Lusos and all those. This thing, the Hofmeister kink, it's like a signature of those Ferraris. Apparently that carried forward into the modern cars. It's to break up those swoopy lines and give you something to like focus on for whatever reason. So all modern cars apparently now have this Hofmeister kink, which I don't understand. I'd rather see a smooth line.
It was developed by a German dude for BMW.
Well, there you go. It was on those Ferraris way back when. It's like, I don't like it, but it's clear and present on every
The
new
Mark
design.
1 Volkswagen has a kink.
Where?
Apparently that is considered a kink.
In the back window of the GTI?
Yep.
Yeah, but it works for that car.
Do you mean liking the Mark 1 Volkswagen as a kink?
It might be these days. Yeah.
The E36 has a kink.
Yeah, it does.
Scratch that, reverse it, Willy Wonka style.
Okay, what made you think of this? Because the Magma doesn't have a kink.
But it's that swoopy thing in the back.
No, it's not. The kink comes down. It goes back the opposite direction.
Yeah, but there's a lot of new cars that
So
still
this
have
Magma doesn't have that. This Magma goes just to a tip to the back. It actually looks bad. It probably looked better if it was a kink because it would have curved back the other way.
But yeah, that's what it reminded me because it's so pronounced. It's like a pennant. It kind of reminds me of, remember the first gen Focuses had the pennant window on the back? It was like a triangular window on a hatchback. It never made any sense to me design wise. It was like, why didn't you square it up? I guess they didn't want to make it look like a Golf or a Renault Clio or anything like that.
This Caterham has a kink. That is an example of the kink. The glass turned back to meet the bottom. And look how that looks nice. It looks nicer than if they made it a point.
But if you look at the Chevy Bolt, doesn't that also have the kink?
Yes. It's very, very subtle.
And it's awful. It looks terrible.
Well, there's other issues. But anyway, the one car you were calling the Lancia apparently is a Honda.
What? I thought that was a Rivian.
You were calling it a Rivian?
Yeah.
A weird wedge?
No, I think that one looks like a Lamborghini from the
Lamborghini. Yeah, that's a Honda. No, that pickup truck looked like a Rivian.
These are all getting terrible. Oh, the Kevin is back. Ev like Kev.
The Kev.
Yeah, remember the commercial, Kevin Bacon? Ev like Kev. He's got his daughter in the car and he's like embarrassing her. It's like a Super Bowl commercial.
No.
Oh yeah. This is the Saab 900 Turbo S. That's what this is.
I mean, you guys, it goes on and Lucid and Lotus and Lexus and Mazda, Mercedes. We didn't talk about them.
We are not allowed to talk about them.
We're not. So we'll skip over the various Mercedes, and they have a lot. Mitsubishi, Lancer EV. They're going to desecrate the name Lancer with a bizarre looking smushed SUV that's an EV. Of course, you have, Polestar and whatever have you, the Porsche Cayman and Cayenne EVs, Rolls-Royce, and then, yes, the Rivian R2, which I thought was already out, but I guess it's coming out now.
I want the R3 and the R3.
The R3 is so good. It is a Fiat Panda. They didn't kink it, though. They didn't kink that glass.
Doesn't need the kink. Look at the glass. It looks perfect without the kink.
The line of this car does not need the kink.
Kink is in the back. Brad is just, he's not buying it.
I'm still trying to understand what the kink is. I was too scared to Google it.
Look at the Scout and it'll make
No,
sense
you can
to you.
Google it. Hofmeister kink. The very first thing that'll come up is the appropriate thing.
Okay, now I got it. Okay, for some reason I was thinking the rear glass, like the back glass.
No, the side back glass.
Do they actually explain why this does this?
I think it's just a design.
Design thing?
Because if not, it'd be awkward. You either have to round it like they did on that R3, or you're coming to a point, which is just awkward and probably very difficult to manufacture the glass
Right.
And also probably structurally having that kink, flattening it out there probably does something to the structural rigidity or integrity of the side panel and the glass itself.
I can see that. I totally want an R3.
Right?
They're awesome. Yeah.
Right?
I could see getting one of these in a couple years once the boys are out of daycare. That's my goal.
That'd be fun. And if it's truly starting under 40,000?
I don't believe that for a second.
37 to 47.
I'm sorry.
No, but one of the more interesting things on this list, in terms of seeing how this actually plays out, is the Slate,
Yeah.
the Bezos truck.
Oh my God.
To see how this actually turns out. I think that'll be interesting to keep our eyes on this year and into next year. So obviously the list goes on and on and on and on, and Toyota and Volvo and etc. So apparently, even though everybody's rolling back their EVs, they're keeping some in the lineups until they aren't. These aren't all confirmed. So,
but you know what else isn't confirmed? Things that are lost. So let's switch to Brad's favorite part of the drive-through, Lost and Found. I don't believe you scoured the internet or called Chuck LaDuck or Gray Chevrolet over the winter break.
Nope.
But I found something for you guys. I'd mentioned this probably before. I mentioned the other Corrado that was modified, that they had turned it into a station wagon. They used the Audi 90 rear lights. I don't know if you guys remember that one. Eventually, that sort of became the Polo station wagon way back when. But have you guys heard about the one-off Corrado Cabriolet?
Nope.
horrible name for the video.
Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Who would have thought it would have worked as a cabrio?
It looks really good.
Man, seeing this car, not as the cabrio though, I'm like, shit.
Every time I see a Corrado, I'm like, I want a Corrado in my life again. And then I think if I get a Corrado in my life again, I will regret every minute of it. Like,
So I'm confused. Okay, so Volkswagen actually made this car?
Volkswagen commissioned a design house to create a cabriolet of the Corrado as a concept. And I think they built like 2 of them or something like that. But this guy, private guy, owns one of them. And so he does this little tour and drives around and shows everybody. It's one of those forgotten things, sort of like the Corrado station wagon that I was just mentioning. Every time you see it, you're kind of like, yeah, I like that. They should have done that. Like, what were they thinking? They should have sold more Corrados. They should have sold them for longer. They should have evolved it yet again and continued the Scirocco line, because there was a period of nothing between the Corrado and the next generation Mark 6 based Scirocco. There was not a whole lot going on there. So I think they could have stretched out that lineage a little bit. Now, granted, there's some fallbacks there, because the longer you keep the Corrado going, well, at that point, the Mark 4s would have been out, let's just say, the Corrado was using a Mark II chassis. So we're talking 80s technology with a 90s body, and now you're building it into the 2000s. That would have been pretty crazy. I can understand why they had to kill it off. It just doesn't make sense to continue to keep the tool and die around for a platform that doesn't exist anymore. But I think they could have evolved the Corrado and kept it going. But stuff like this, I mean, just imagine, instead of that weird Mark 3.5 cabriolet that we got, that's like a Mark 3 in the back and a Mark 4 in the front, and nothing's cross compatible between the generations. That's what we ended up with instead of this, which would have been super cool. Again, if they had made one, I would have really considered collecting one, have a coupe and a convertible. I think that'd be super cool. Tanya, any car commercials you'd like us to review for Lost and Found this month?
Do not have one this time.
Next time.
By the next time, we'll actually have Super Bowl commercials to review.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
We'll have a whole slew of car commercials.
And they'll probably be wildly disappointing.
Tanya's holding out for the good stuff.
Exactly.
So it's a new year. Do we have a new New Year's resolution, or are we going to stick with last year? Are we allowed to talk about Tesla in 2026?
That was our resolution.
Last year.
Yeah.
I think we'll make some exceptions.
Oh, okay.
Only when it's comical and it paints Tesla in a bad light.
Only when it's talking about the Cybertruck and how the sales have plummeted like a rock off Mount Everest.
Nobody wants these.
It's my fault. Had I bought mine, they would have been negative 14,999 instead of 15,000.
And here's the hilarious thing. Cybertruck was America's best-selling electric pickup in 2024. Wasn't it like the only?
It was between that and the F1 Lightning. I don't think there were any other pickups.
But
No.
the F1 Lightning barely didn't even, I don't even remember when it came out. Maybe they
Yeah.
came out pretty close, I guess. Nonetheless, they sold 39,000 Cybertrucks during the first full year on the market in 2024.
Mhm.
And then the sales got cut in half. They estimate that only 20,200 were sold in 2025.
Wow.
Even though Muskie would have said they were going to sell like, I don't know, over 100,000 or 200,000 or some BS that he had floated at one point of all they were going to sell. And now apparently I think they're saying they're just like sitting in lots right now.
I just realized that the entire design of the Cybertruck is a Hofmeister Kink.
There's a Kink. There's a Kink.
No, there
There's
is
a Kink.
no kink. No, this is great.
The back bumper is a Kink.
If you look at the side view of it, when you scroll down,
Oh, the one that's covered in vomit?
well, where you see all the dirty hand smudges all down the side of it, yes, the perfect profile of the side. This is what happens when you don't do a kink. They didn't do a kink on that back glass. It's straight down. And then they didn't kink anything on that front glass. It comes to a point. Look how dumb that looks.
Yeah, there's nothing kinky about the Cybertruck. It is kinkless.
I see more of these on the road, and the wraps are crazy, and they look terrible in every color, whether it's red, orange, yellow, blue, black.
You have to wrap them because they look like vomit, if not.
Okay, so if you go further down, there is a graph showing the pickup trucks that were sold in 2024 and 2025. The electric pickup trucks.
Uh-huh.
The Cybertruck, the Lightning, the Rivian R1. They're considering the Hummer a pickup truck.
Oh, okay.
I don't really think it is. But the Silverado EV, which I've seen a few of those around here, I actually kind of like them. And then the Sierra EV, which is just the same thing as the Silverado EV.
You know, you reminded me of something, Brad, and maybe we'll have to have him on the show to talk about life with an Hummer EV. If you remember Big Drew, who has been off-roading Jeeps and he had his G-Wagon and all that, he got rid of all that stuff. He now has a Hummer EV. And he said when we had talked to him last time about off-roading, for him, that would be like the pinnacle off-road vehicle. Like that's the one he wants. He finally got one. And I'm wondering, A, if he took it off-road, and B, what it's like to be an owner of a Hummer EV. So maybe we'll have him back to talk about that.
I can't imagine it's very good off-road being 200,000 pounds.
So the question I would have, sometimes being discerning of graphs and data, the Cybertruck came out in 2023.
Uh-huh.
So yes, it technically had a full 2024 sales year. The F-150 didn't come out till April. The Silverado didn't come out till like June or mid-year sometime. The Cybertruck had a head start on these guys, and it barely eked out actually the F-150. I'd never seen this data before. I never paid attention to how many F-150s were sold. Who cares? So I wonder if the F-150 had come out earlier in 2023 alongside the Cybertruck, this might be a different graph because in 2025 it outpaced the Cybertruck.
And to that point, like its drop off might have been proportional though, because all the early adopters were going, all the people that were going to buy them would buy them first. And then the casual customers would kind of stroll in and, you know, pick one up. All the diehards would have bought them at first. So the sales would have come down because it's the early adopters and everybody that are buying them and not the people that necessarily are just looking for a vehicle.
But then there's also all the problems with it.
Well,
Bricking, you can't get it wet, it rusts.
Yes, I have a vehicle that I cannot get wet.
The panels blow off and fall off, and the accelerator pedal breaks underneath you, and the console disintegrates.
Quality.
I wonder how much of that also contributed to a downward decline in sales.
Nah.
Yeah, how much of Whistling Diesel contributed to the decline in sales?
Nah. Moving on to the segment that has changed more times than Brad has changed his socks over the years. We're at Seriously What Could Go Wrong, formerly Lowered Expectations.
Lowered expectations.
This one takes the cake. Tanya, you spent a week with the rental Altima. I'm just going to throw it out there.
You did what now?
I'm going to say it again. She spent a week with an Altima.
So actually, I was going to bring this up. I had the rare opportunity to actually sample some of JDM's finest over a short period of time for a variety of reasons. So not only did I have a rental Altima, but I also had a rental Elantra and I had a rental Kia.
A rental Kia what?
Kia Soul.
Kia Soul. Okay.
No, Kia Rio from like 1995.
The buy one, get one free.
Yeah.
So Hyundai, Kia, and Nissan, for all intents and purposes.
Who came out on top?
Who came out on bottom? The Kia.
Really?
Not surprised. The Kia Soul is an econo car. The Elantra and Altima are mid-size family sedans.
Yes, and the Kia felt its economy.
Yeah.
Literally in its fuel economy, as well as its quality of interior and the feel and the sad odor that it tried its best.
How were those cardboard seats?
The surprise in this actually was the Elantra.
Really?
The Elantra will give you in the 40s miles per gallon all day long. I was shocked. And it's got a nice little gauge and it's telling you, as modern cars do, like where you're falling in the band and all that stuff. And it was like, I drove around and some cruising like long distance on the highway. I thought for the longest time after driving like 2 hours and stuff that the gas needle was broken and the gas gauge didn't work because it did not move. And I'm watching the thing and it's going, you're doing 45 miles to the gallon. I'm like, bullshit, I am. This is a big ass car. I went around and around in a 2-hour drive and a 2-hour drive back, and then here and there and city and highway, practically returned to full. It was ridiculous. I mean, great. I will also say the interior wasn't terrible. It was fine. It wasn't the most luxurious. Having also recently been in some other Japanese cars, there are more luxurious interiors in that same kind of range of car that you could get in a similar price range, probably also. So the other thing about the Kia, which might have swayed me, not really, there was a smoker in that car, and that car fucking reeked. Reeked. And I should have returned it immediately on the spot, but I did not. Eventually, I got used to the smell, which was pretty bad. But anyway, the Altima. So get to the Altima.
Oh, boy.
So I had Elantra, Kia, and then the Altima.
Save the best for last. Yeah.
Save the best for last, baby. When I was still in the rental car garage, I snapped a photo and sent it to you. And what was wrong with that Altima? The front bumper was hanging off slightly.
They come that way from the factory. It's like Fiats in the 70s with the rust. Altimas do not come fully put together. It's like some assembly required.
But here is my legitimate, okay, I got in the Altima, get out of the airport, all that stuff, get on the highway, whatever, wherever I'm going.
Wait, before you get there, did you do any antics in the Altima? Did you go full Altima driver?
Of course
Did
not.
you jump some curbs? Did you reenact Bullet? Did you bounce off of some telephone poles?
Did you pay for the insurance?
No, but I kid you not. I literally had the thought while I'm driving this car gives no fucks.
It's a honey badger.
This car is here for it all. The Elantra and the Kia, they were sitting there driving you back into the lane constantly. Boop, boop, boop this, boop, boop, boop that. The Altima, you want to drive in the middle of the road on the yellow line? I'll downshift for you. Let's go. Those are the Altima vibes. Okay.
The Ultima's a ride or die.
The
Literally.
Altima is there for you.
Yeah.
That's why it's the number one selling vehicle at Nissan, despite the fact that it's the only vehicle that Nissan sells.
I want to buy an Altima now.
I will say the Elantra, though, like interior and everything was still slightly superior. I had a little bit nicer finish and polish to it. The Altima felt a little plasticky inside.
Rough around the edges.
Yeah, it was rough on the edges. It didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's just getting you where you need to go.
Yeah. It's dragging pedestrians behind you.
Well, it's dragging its bumper. It's flapping in the wind. All right. So I'm going to ask this every month until you answer yes. And that question is, did you watch the F1 movie?
Not yet.
It's not free yet. But do you pay for Apple? If
Not
you pay
yet.
for Apple TV,
Just wait.
well, you're waiting for the F1 season. I get
To the
it.
last minute. You want to get the maximum out of that Apple subscription you possibly can.
Exactly.
The Olympics are happening first, okay?
Yes.
Then Formula One.
Yes.
Since we're in the middle of winter, really cold, and we've got some huge storms coming here, destined for some inclement weather. Probably as you're listening to this, we're on the other end of some inclement weather that hit us pretty hard. This is borderline Florida man. I don't know if you guys saw this Instagram reel that was going around. And it's not artificial intelligence, generating a video to be funny or anything, somebody being a parody. I literally watched a video and I must have watched it 10 times because I didn't believe what I was seeing. A woman was using one of those small, like little portable snowblowers. And I'm not talking like the Ryobi one, I'm talking like the next size up. Okay. So I'm not sure if it was gas powered or what, to clear off their car from the hood up through the windshield with the snowblower. Back and forth and back and forth. And every time they went back and forth, I just cringed and said, I wonder how their windshield got busted. Can you believe the stuff that people do? Like, how hard is it to clear your windshield?
Considering there are so many people out there that just don't fucking do it after a snowstorm and they just drive, it's probably pretty hard, apparently.
I wouldn't think it was that easy to get the snowblower up on the car.
I would think it would be harder to go through the effort of this, whatever the snowblower thing was, than to just even use your arm if you don't have an ice scraper or something.
Right.
She did it for the gram.
Basically.
She looked like an older lady, so I don't know that she was TikToking the old folks home kind of thing, right?
Wait. But before we go any further, I think there is a question that needs to be asked.
Okay.
Was it an Altima?
Yes.
Yes.
Because it's here for it all, as Tanya says. It's here for all of it. Okay. So that's what got me, because I was like, there's no way the windshield's cracked because Altimas will survive nuclear holocaust. And there's no way that the paint is chipped because you could go through Armageddon with an Altima and it will last. And I kept thinking, the snowblower has augers. It should have torn up the hood. Nah. Altimas are bulletproof. It's all good. So if you own an Altima and you have a small snowblower, apparently you can clear off your car.
Yep.
Again, what could go wrong?
And then they drive 150 miles an hour down the road on the wrong side of the road.
Because there's no lane assist. So what's stopping you from doing it?
Yep.
All right. So book club, I am on a mission to get through some automotive books. I've got a backlog of them. So, just want to throw a plug out here. Finally finished the revised edition of Brock Yates's tome, The Love Letter to Enzo Ferrari. It's the history of Enzo Ferrari from the very beginning up until his death in 1988. And this version was updated by his daughter because of the Ferrari movie that had come out a couple of years ago. I will say, if you're a Ferrari fan, read it. Get the audiobook on Spotify or Audible or wherever. Check it out. It's immensely detailed. You can tell that it is a little biased. Brock Yates seemed to be a big fan of Ferrari, although he kind of poo-poos on the Europeans, very pro-American, stuff like that. It is what it is. It was written quite a long time ago. But it is one of the definitive Ferrari books, especially when it comes to Ferrari history. So I enjoyed it. It's quite long. The book itself is hundreds and hundreds of pages, and the revised edition adds another couple of chapters because it goes up through Schumacher and current days and the return of Montezemolo and all this kind of stuff. So it's updated for the current times up until the movie a couple of years ago. So Enzo by Brock Yates is on my recommended read list if you're a automotive historian or a automotive enthusiast nerd. That's that. But speaking of Ferrari, we need to switch to rich people things. So I mentioned I had a rental Wagoneer and went on a little trip to Florida. This is a multi-layered story here, but I will say this. Shout out to our friends at the Revs Institute, Naples, Florida. I'd never been before. So before going to the 2026 Mecum auction, I took a little detour to go visit Lauren Goodman and Arthur down at Revs and hang out there and see the museum and all that kind of stuff. Never been before, always heard good things from people that had been, didn't know what to expect when I went there. I kept my expectations low, thinking, car museum, how good could it be? The minute you walk into Revs, you suddenly realize you're on a whole nother level. The place is immaculate. It's well curated. It's fascinating. The cars are interesting. The people are interesting. It runs like a well-oiled machine. I mean, we got the full tour, even the restoration shop, all of it. We got to see the new archives that they built in Fort Myers and got access to a whole bunch of photographs and talked to a bunch of people. It was absolutely amazing. Cannot recommend Revs enough. I wrote a short article about it with some pictures that we'll include in the show notes. So if you're headed to Florida and you can make the detour to southwestern Florida, go to Naples, go check it out, go check out the cars, ask for Lauren, she'll take you around or hook you up with someone there that can take you on a really nicely well-guided tour. It's very much worth the stopover. From Revs, we went to Mecum in Kissimmee, not too far from Disney World and Epcot and all that fun stuff right there in the heart of Orlando. It's a circus. That's all I could say. Mecum Kissimmee, one of the biggest auctions in the country, absolute nonstop for 2 weeks. We were there at the tail end specifically for the Bachmann collection and the Bianco Speciale, which we covered earlier in December. So you can go back to that multi-part miniseries that we did leading up to that. We got there trying to get a lay of the land, pictures of all the cars, what we wanted to see, get the programs and figure out the run order for the auctions and all this kind of stuff. And so what we did is we set up shop right there amongst all the craziness that was happening. We did play-by-play commentary of the Bachmann collection and the Bianco Speciale. So there's an episode that dropped on January the 17th. You can go back into our catalog and check it out. And I was there with William from the Ferrari Marketplace, John Summers, the motoring historian, and we had David Nyans fly in from Ontario, Canada, who's from Motorcopia. And we had all been part of that mini-series in December, but we all got together live and did commentary right there from the auction. It was pretty cool. So lots of really neat stuff across the blocks. 17 record-setting Ferraris. I mean, we're talking Enzos that sold for double what they should normally sell for, F40s that broke the record, 288 GTOs, 360 Challenge Stradales, just all sorts of stuff that was off the charts expensive. There was even a Ferrari 400i that was like in disrepair, the motor's half apart, body panels are missing. And we were like, hey, William, you like those cars. You should bid on that. But it came out the gate and suddenly it's like $100,000 for a car that needs to be put back together that isn't even running. And it was like just absolute off the chain rich people things. And so you're probably wondering, as you're nodding your head, Brad, going, yep, Ferrari. Was there more ketchup than there was mustard? No. The Bachmanns were huge fans of yellow Ferraris. Most of their collection was yellow. So if you want to see Ferraris you've never seen in that fly yellow or some of the more modern yellow colors, definitely check out the pictures we have from the Bachmann collection. Just one of a kind. A lot of them were last of the line cars, like the last one off the production line, European delivery, crazy color combinations that were specifically ordered for them, like completely bespoke and all that.
And how many Altimas went across the block and what did they sell for?
0.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that boggles me about auctions, right? It's crazy. Now, Mecum is a little bit less what John Summers likes to call pass the butter auctions. Those are the, the Sotheby's, the Goodings and all those, like what you would expect. If you ever watched the movie The Red Violin, that's what those auctions are like. They're quiet, but you got these auctioneers telling you a story and trying to get people excited. And there's someone in the background sipping tea and holding a little paddle, or gently rubbing their ear or something, whatever the signal is that they want to make a bid. Mecum is more like it's like the farm show auction, and they got the guy and it's just this pattern that's constantly going on nonstop, and they take turns. They just have auctioneers that just rotate through and they take a break, and it's bonkers. And so there's a lot of energy in the room, but no, Altimas, no, but Corvettes for $800,000. You're like, where is the money coming from? I mean, Yanko Camaros for millions of dollars. You're like, who's buying these cars? The amount of money that was crossing the block was absolutely insane. And I did a rough calculation. The Bachmann collection alone, hammer values before fees, because you always have to tack on like another 10% to everything that sells. It was like $55 million just for those 40 cars in the Bachmann collection. You're like, they had 4,000 to 5,000 cars go through Mecum in 2 weeks. And I mean, you're talking, again, Corvettes for $800,000 a pop. You do the math, it's billions and billions of dollars running through. And it's like, where is it coming from? And where's it going? Some of these cars, I feel like they rotate from one auction to the next, right? People are buying them and flipping them. They probably didn't even take them off the car carrier that, they probably showed up to collect them on. So there's a game there too. I mean, you get some inside baseball and how some of that stuff works, but I'm just like, that's too rich for my blood, man. It's straight up rich people things.
Yeah.
So then the crescendo, we were building up to the Bianco Speciale. That's the 1961 250 GTO Ferrari, the only one made in white, one of 8 right-hand drives, driven by Graham Hill, Roy Salvadori, all this stuff. You can go back and listen to the whole story, all the provenance that car has. You got to remember, 250 GTOs don't sell on an auction block normally. They are traded like Picassos and Rembrandts and Renoirs. They're like art pieces. People don't really drive 250 GTOs unless you're
Crazy.
No, the guy from Pink Floyd. What's his name? Nick
Mason?
Yes, Nick Mason. There you go. So at any rate, this 250 GTO up for auction. It's the first one up for auction in like over 10 years or something like that. So anyway, there's sort of a range. When you sell privately, they don't declare like how much things go for. And so there's sort of a range between, let's say, like I think 35 and 75, right? And the guy from WeatherTech bought his for right around 75. And then there was one that, somebody bought way back when and wrecked and they died in it, but they never raced it and it had to be rebuilt. And that one was considered a bad one and it sold for like 35. There was all these projections that either the Bianco Speciale was going to do better than McNeil's silver one, or it was going to sit somewhere in the middle, right? Maybe let's say 50 million, right? We're not talking thousands, we're talking millions of dollars. So we get there, you could tell that there was somebody on the phone, there was somebody in the room. There were only a couple people that were in that space, right? Because they came out opening bid 50 million and then they had to drop it. They dropped it all the way down to 25 to try to get some bidding going. And it just crept up and crept up and crept up. And the whole thing was sort of over and done with in about 20 to 25 minutes. Unlike the other cars where they kind of speed them through, they're trying to ramp it up. They want to get it back to that 50 million, which is where we thought the reserve was probably sitting there. So they took the reserve off at 35, trying to push it to 36, and that number. And it just sort of sat there and sat there and sat there. And then they finally settled on 35, which came out to 38 and change with fees. But still, $35 million for a Ferrari. Good God. That's rich people things.
It is pretty though.
It's even prettier in person. I mean, it's one of the best looking Ferraris, hands down. I mean, it's like that moment they just got it right. They got it right on all levels. It was winning in racing, it was winning in design, it was just a winning car. Not to say that they couldn't repeat it later, but it was just one of those things, But you had to be there. But you can sort of relive it by re-listening to that episode. So, and in the end, would I go to another auction? As a commentator, absolutely. Could I bid on anything? No. Like, it hurts me, like, just to see those numbers. Like, maybe I could go to the Copart auction when they're getting rid of, like an insurance car or an old police car or something. But that caliber of auction is just, whoosh, you have to be committed to what you're buying at that point.
Mm-hmm.
It looks here that we got some extra notes in the, in our rich people. What is this value meal? What's going on here?
It's a different segment.
What is the drive-through?
It's not rich people things. It's value meal. It's things the everyday person can afford that are fun.
Ah.
It's rich people things and Goodwill. Dollar menu. Maybe it should be dollar menu.
Dollar menu.
I thought of dollar menu at first, and then I thought maybe that's ripping somebody off. It's
the extra value menu.
Yeah. Family Dollar.
This ain't Burger King. You can't have it your way.
No, but as more and more of us are becoming Lego or brick enthusiasts, the Brick Shop by Mattel has unveiled their latest build, which is a 90s Honda Civic.
Gee, I wonder who's had one of those before.
I don't know, Brad. Who had one of those?
Me.
I mean, if this was red, it would look exactly like yours.
It would. It would.
Why did they pick this color, though?
Because they already have the Hot Wheels in that color.
Yeah, the Hot Wheels was already in that color. They already had the paint.
And it's funny because these are becoming more popular. Mattel is trying to break into that Speed Champions Lego market there. The other day, when I was in Florida, I actually went through a Walmart. I had to go pick something up, and I walked, just for giggles, you walk through the toy aisle.
Always.
The Hot Wheels section, I've never been more repulsed in my life. It looked like a bomb went off. I was like, I'm not even going to bother. Like, I won't bother with the bins that you see, like the 50-gallon drums. Like, I'm like, it's a disaster. I'm not dealing with that. Usually Walmart, Target, like they put them up on the pegboard and you kind of glance underneath and you can see everything. This looked like an explosion. So I was like, all right, never mind. But what caught my eye, I looked over because the Hot Wheels, these Mattel Brick Shop, not to call them Legos because they're their own thing. They're like Mega Blocks, right? Or whatever they used to be called, are right next to the Hot Wheels. And I saw the Audi RS2 version that they have available. And for a minute, I was like, I'm going to buy that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get it. It's going to be mine. I'm going to bring it home. And then I went, I don't have that much space in my luggage, so I'm not going to do it. And I'll see if I can find one local. It was right there. It was it was just within reach, and I didn't do it. But I did buy the Audi 90 GTO car a couple of years ago when that came out. So I have that. So I was like, so maybe I made a mistake, and I'm never going to find
You
one
should
again.
have bought it and went straight to the UPS store and just shipped it to yourself.
So stupid. Oh, well. But glad to see that Mattel is doing something like this. I think it's pretty cool. There's some new stuff coming out from Lego too, which looks super interesting. So this whole, 1/18th scale brick-based modeling is pretty neat. I think this is cool stuff. All right.
Segment 2F : are you faster than an interceptor ? Tanya in parentheses. Florida man.
Oh boy. Ron Burgundy's back. So I have a Florida man story because I was in Florida.
There was this jagoff driving a Grand Wagoneer L.
Yeah, it was ping-ponging down the road. No. So get this. So we're on our way from Revs to Mecum. Early in the morning, we got up, hit the road, figure we'll knock it out. We got to pick up William because he had gone down early, all this kind of stuff. So it's like, all right, cool. We get most of the way there, and I'm like, anybody else got to pee? And they're like, yeah. So there's a Circle K. So I just, bail, pull into Circle K, figure it's a good time to get a cup of coffee and relieve oneself and whatever. Yeah, wander around the Circle K a little bit. And it's like, before I buy anything, go pee. Well, normally I don't want to say you go as a group because you don't. You try not to. The whole, there's that unspoken rule of space at the urinal and all that kind of thing. We all know how it goes, right? Instead, we all go in together. John Summers to my right. I'm in the middle. David Nyans, our friendly Canadian, walks into the stall that the door is open to. And all you hear is, whoa, I'm sorry. And there's an older guy in there doing his business, wiping himself. And he looks at David, and apparently David is completely embarrassed. And I heard it through the stall wall. He's just like, like, gotcha, sucker. And then next I hear John Summers go, I suddenly have stage fright. And I'm like, oh my God, this is the most awkward bathroom situation I could have ever anticipated in my life. So can you imagine walking into a bathroom stall and facing a Florida man, and he's happy by the fact that he snared you in his web as he's sitting there in the Circle K bathroom?
Wow.
Your guys' faces say it all.
Was it a Circle K or a Circle J?
Something was amiss. Something was afoot at the Circle K.
Yeah, something's amiss.
And I had to keep from laughing, right? Because I find all of this extremely amusing. David is so polite. He closes the stall door, and it's just like, oh my God.
That's very Canadian of you, David.
I know, right? I'm just like, oh, wow. But can you imagine? Can you imagine? Florida man.
I'm surprised he didn't spread his legs and say, you can go in between.
Oh, no! Ah!
How good of a shot are you?
Here, hold this.
Yeah.
Taken so many different ways.
He's like, did you need some help there, bud?
God, it's so good.
Wow.
That's a memory there. That's unforgettable. Yeah. I mean, it's different for me. David must be still having nightmares about that. I mean, can you imagine?
It really puts the name of the next segment into perspective. Behind the pit wall.
Yeah, right? Well, let's go behind the pit wall for some motorsports news. Not Formula One. Rolex, that's it. It is the beginning of the year. Rolex is here. I cannot tell you the results because we recorded this just before Rolex and it's going to come out just after Rolex. So we'll have to talk about that next time. But in WEC IMSA SRO news, something interesting that happened during the winter months came across my desk. Changes are coming to Le Mans this year. In a news article that was sort of buried on Le Mans' website, there's a rendering of the changes that are being made to the infamous Dunlop Bridge and Dunlop Curve. They're no longer going to be called either. They're going to be sponsored by Goodyear and branded by Goodyear, thus connecting the Goodyear Tribune, which is where the Club de Pilote is, with La Chapelle over the Goodyear Bridge, through the Goodyear curves. Goodyear, Goodyear, Goodyear. It's all going to be Goodyear. I don't know how I feel about it. I care, but I don't care. But I care because it's always been Dunlop Bridge and it's always been Dunlop Curve. Forever. Why the sudden change?
If you want to know how I feel about it, I didn't even know it was Dunlop Bridge before because I paid zero attention to that. So I'm indifferent.
That's no fun.
I recuse myself.
I mean, why?
There is no explanation for that other than money talks.
I mean, iconic at this point.
It'd be like painting the Eiffel Tower blue and slapping the Goodyear logo on it, right? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, Michelin wouldn't let that happen.
Well, it's kind of funny because, correct me if I'm wrong, Dunlop's British, right?
It's currently owned by Sumitomo.
Oh, so it's Japanese then. All right then.
Was founded by John Boyd Dunlop in Belfast, Ireland.
There you go. See? My memory's still okay. Well, speaking of Le Mans 2026, my favorite race of the year, though I have committed to Formula One, and we'll talk about that on another episode.
Well, you have to.
This year we have to, yes. I have to commit to Formula One for one more year.
Everything's changing, and there's new cars and everything. So new drivers, new teams.
Well, speaking of new cars, but not new teams, you posted a link to the Twitter feed for the new Toyota hypercar. This looks really cool. Sort of a step away from what they've done before. Lots more airflow in this design. I like the front end. I like the sharpness. It's got that GR86 Supra kind of look to it. But what do we think about? Are we hopeful for Toyota at Le Mans this year? They've 3 years in a row. It's been Ferrari's game. It's their year to lose.
Of course we have to cheer for Ferrari. And then I silently cheer for Peugeot to do well.
I know, right? Well, Porsche's out. We know that. Porsche's out. Lamborghini's out of hypercar. So there's 2 teams out because, again, got to pay for Formula One somehow. So Toyota's still in the game. Hyundai's coming. Ford is coming. Probably not this year, but next year. I still think it would be smart if Ferrari got out, go out on a high.
Cadillac's still there, right?
Cadillac's still there. BMW, I think, is iffy. But if I recall, they're committed for another year. And then I got to look at who else is on the roster. But LMP1, P1, GTP, whatever you want to call it, is filling up. It's getting bulky up there. So there's a lot of people in contention. But Toyota coming with a new car, it's still Ferrari's race to lose if they commit this year. So we'll see. Time will tell. They have not announced the roster of cars that are going to be at this year's running of Le Mans. So we'll see. The other thing I wanted to mention with respect to endurance racing, for anybody that's been following our digital magazine for a while, you probably caught on last year, we are carrying Lippert Motorsports Super Trofeo news, and they do endurance races of all lengths around the world, especially Asia and Europe and so on. So there's like 6 hours to Dubai. Did you know there's 24 hours? Yas Marina, places like that. Super cool. So we get all of their press information and then, we run it as part of the magazine. So if you're interested in more forms of endurance racing that maybe you weren't familiar with, check out the articles that we're putting out following Lippert Motorsports. There's other teams that you can follow in that series, but I think it's really cool to check out, the Super Trofeo racing and whatnot. It's actually pretty good racing. I mean, when they're together as a spec series, the cars are very, very competitive, and it's a lot of fun to see a bunch of R8s go. Oh, did I say that out loud? A bunch of Lamborghinis running together on track. Now, we talked about Christmas presents, what we didn't get. I actually got a couple of things during the winter break. I got Project Motor Racing and I got a Assetto Rally. So I wanted to follow up on that. And I also wanted to follow up on the update to Assetto Evo. Project Motor Racing is Project Cars 2, race skin the way it should have been instead of the pitiful, disgraceful disappointment that was Project Cars 3, which was too cartoony and too Forza, and all the things that people hated about Project Cars 3. So Project Motor Racing takes us back to Project Cars 2 and does everything right that it's supposed to do. It has its own issues. It's being updated. It gets better with every patch. They are taking the advice of the fans and making changes, and they're doing them in pretty rapid order, which is pretty cool. Assetto Rally came out of the gate swinging, looks amazing, didn't come with a ton of tracks, stages, or cars. They released their winter pack during these winter months. It added snow, and it added a test track in Italy, but it's just a test track. It's not a winter stage in Sweden or Monte Carlo or anywhere else where they run rally stages in the wintertime. And they added a couple new cars, but it's sort of like you're waiting for that, okay, give me the rest of it moment. Is it good? Yes. Is it amazing? Absolutely. Is it visually stunning? Check, 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 check. All the things that Assetto Evo was not. Assetto Evo always looked good, but the physics was wah, and the tracks were and the cars were you just couldn't get over the fact that it was like pre-alpha code that they were giving us in Assetto Evo. Now, Evo and Rally under the same design house of simulators, but developed by 2 entirely different units inside of that same house. So Rally by one team, Evo by another. What's interesting is Evo jumped massively when they released version 0.4. So their 4th release of Assetto Evo. That's when they introduced the Ferrari F40 LM, a bunch of other cars, new tracks and stuff. And I tell you what, man, I have been driving the heck out of it now. The physics is improved, handling's improved. Some of the cars are very fragile. Like, I love driving the F40. It puts a smile on my face. The gearbox is absolute garbage, but you get in something like an NSX or a 911 Turbo, and they're a lot of fun to drive. You don't really have to worry about them. They're a lot stronger. They're like indestructible in comparison to the F40. But the F40, just the sound alone just puts a smile on my face. And running it at tracks like Imola and Monza and, you know, all the famous Italian tracks, it's just, oh, it's so good. I am very hopeful now for Assetto Evo, so I'm hoping that, you know, version 5 and 6 and 7 that they put out, because they're on this supposedly monthly, but it's more like when they feel like it release schedule, that it's only going to continue to progress and it's going to get where they promised us it would be. So those are my top 3 titles right now. Granted, the fact that Le Mans Ultimate, JDM Drift Masters, Solar Crown, they were all updated during the winter months. It just takes me a whole bunch of time to go back and kind of mess with them and play with them and get a feel. So it's hard to jump between games because then you got to get used to the physics all over again because they're all very different. But really happy with what's coming out of Project Motor Racing and the Assetto Rally and Assetto Evo stuff. So good stuff there. Brad, I mean, you were a drag racer in your younger years. I'm not as directly connected to this last bit of motorsport news here. John Force officially announced his retirement.
It's about time.
16-time NHRA champion. I mean, you almost don't have enough digits to put rings on at that point. You know what I mean?
It's basically putting him on his toes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Got fill in both feet.
Yeah.
Go for the full 20. So yeah, John Force retires. That doesn't mean his kids aren't still drag racing, the Force daughters and all them. So
Yeah.
there's a lot still going on in the John Force dynasty.
Yeah, and I think he's still affiliated with the team. He's just not driving anymore.
Yeah, so it's not the last we've seen of John. It's just he's not going to be driving anymore. And, you know, at his age, that's probably smart.
Probably smart. Yep.
Or it's the traumatic brain injury he suffered in 2024 from a crash.
That too.
Why do you have to rain on my parade? This year, our motorsports news is brought to you in part by Enduroverse, powered by Hyperdev, America's premier endurance racing community. So check it out online and become a member at www.enduroverse.com. This year's GTM Trackside Report is going to take a slightly different turn for 2026. Instead of talking about, you know, who, what, when, where of HPE, track days, and all that kind of thing, we're going to use this spot to talk about our latest adventure in racing. And what is that exactly? Well, we bought a car because we're going to go 24 hours of Lemons endurance racing. We did not use Brad's pumpkin spice, although that was a $500 special. We found another $500 car. 2 $500 cars in 1 year. That's like, we might as well play the lottery, or at least get ChatGPT to play the lottery for us, right? You heard about that, right? But we got a Ford Focus for $500, and we're going to go racing, and it's going to be awesome. And we're going to talk about the progress we're making, things like that. So the first step, you know, acquire the car for the right amount of money, you know, playing to the Lemons rules. Go check out 24hoursoflemons.com so you can kind of get up to speed of what we're talking about if you don't know. Next stage is we're taking it off to the cage builder to get all the safety stuff put in, fire suppression, seats, you know, all that kind of thing. So that's the next phase of the project, and we're going to go on from there. We are going to have an opportunity for people to get involved with the team. So look for an announcement about that very soon. Look to our show notes for how you can be part of the team. I'll put air quotes around that, how you can help us reach our goal. We're actually doing this not only just for the fun of racing, but for a good cause as well. So if you're looking to donate or be involved or be there live with us as a VIP, there'll be a bunch of opportunities to do that. So we'll send that link along in the show notes so you can check it out. And I will say, you know, we're going into this. We already got a rival. We got a rival in this field. Can you believe it? It's another podcasting team. So Bill and Vicky from Garage Heroes in Training, if you're listening to this, which I know Bill listens to this show, we're going to see you on track. We're going to be there. Look out for us. GTM, Garage Heroes in Training. Oh, 24 hours 11s. Oh, yeah.
And if you're not quite ready to hit the track, don't forget that you can find tons of upcoming local shows and events at the ultimate reference for car enthusiasts, collectorcarguide.net.
Be sure to jump back into our podcast catalog and check out other programs we offer like the Ferrari Marketplace, the Motoring Historian, Evening with a Legend, the Racers Roundtable, Break Fix, and of course, the Drive-Thru. Season 6 isn't quite over yet, so stay tuned through February for some awesome episodes.
And if you enjoy our various podcasts, there's a great way for you to support our creators on the MPN. There's tons of extras and bonuses to explore on our updated Patreon page. You can learn more about our bonus and behind-the-scenes content, get early access to upcoming episodes, and consider becoming a Break Fix VIP when you visit patreon.com/GTMotorsports. As always, thank you to our co-host and executive producer, Tanya.
We got to change her title. We got to change her title this year. She's going to be Team Principal.
Team Principal. Tanya Bonotto.
Hanodo.
Are you going to wear your hair like straight up like Beekman?
Oh my God.
Team Principal Tanya. That's what
Yeah.
we're going to call her.
Yes. And always thank you to our co-host and executive producer and team principal, Tanya. And to all the fans, friends, and family who support Grand Touring Motorsports, as well as the Motoring Podcast Network. Without you, none of this would be possible. And outro. And first of all, can I just say that all of my segments here, all of my statements here start with "and." All four of them. And. I mean, wouldn't a quick Google search answer that question for us? I have no idea, because I'm just now opening the show notes, because you're never more prepared than when you're unprepared.
100%.
Yeah. Who wrote this shit?
The Drive-Thru is our monthly news episode and is sponsored in part by organizations like CollectorCarGuide.net, Project Motoring, Garage Style Magazine, the Exotic Car Marketplace, and many others. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor of The Drive-Thru, look no further than www.motoringpodcast.net. Click About and then Advertising. Thank you again to everyone that supports the Motoring Podcast Network, Grand Touring Motorsports, our podcast Break Fix, and all the other services we provide.